pack of races have been ran so far this week, 4 of them in Cup cars. This afternoon, we wrap up a long week of racing at the granddaddy of fictional racetracks, the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. Hi, hello, and good afternoon, race fans. It's another beautiful afternoon in Concord, Massachusetts, as we're here for today's coverage of the 21st race of the 2025 NR2003 Mission Barbecue Cup Series, the Sam Adams Firecracker 400. Welcome, everybody, to today's Intercast on the North American Sim Racing Network. My name is Trey Wright, and we have one more race to go here in our 2025 Dunkin Week of Speed, 34 laps around the high banks of the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, and 2 drivers are in the hunt for the Dunkin Week of Speed 2025 in-season tournament title, 2 rookies in the form of Michael Lewis and Campbell Marsh. For Michael Lewis, he came in this tournament as the 17th seed after beating Eric Monaco, Esteban Lasserre, Rogel Dorn, and Carson Miller. He makes up half of the field fighting for the Dunkin Week of Speed title. Then the other half is Campbell Marsh. 2 poles in the first 2 rounds helped him get past Matt Wolf and Bruno Diacomo. He then defeated Keegan Thompson and then beat Elijah Gordon to advance to the finals. The 2 will face off in a one-on-one matchup with the other 40 cars on the track, and whoever finishes the highest will join Bradley Ream as winners of the Dunkin Week of Speed in-season tourney. Marsh does have an advantage with his qualifying run. The number 31 car starts in 7th compared to Lewis's number 90 starting deep in the field in 28th, but that'll likely be negated once the field begins to cycle here at Coca-Cola. With 6 races remaining between now and the regular season cutoff race. With 6 races remaining in the regular season, we'll take another look at the point standings coming into race number 21. Esteban Lasserre holds a 41-point lead over Braden Perez coming into Coca-Cola this afternoon. Campbell Marsh, Eric Monaco, and Carson Miller 3rd through 5th, and those 3 drivers separated by only 14 points. Owen Miles, Corey Case, Brendan Wilmington, Alex Lozano, and Riley Sampson round down the back end of the top 5. And the gap between Riley Sampson and Caleb Rose at the cut line is a mere 19 points between those 2 drivers. And the gap between Caleb Rose and Ryan Durrani, and the gap between Caleb Rose and Angel Gutierrez and all the drivers in between, only 10 points separate those drivers. And having a look at the wildcard standings as well, Bradley Ream still holds the first wildcard spot, while Caleb Rose still holds spot number 2. But there's a lot of drivers up inside the top 20 in points that do have at least 1 win under their belt. Guys like Caleb Rose, who could potentially get another win here this afternoon, Angel Gutierrez, Daniel Bouchard, Alexander Rowe, and Rogel Dorn. If those drivers are able to get another win, and they could potentially knock out Bradley Ream, and it would definitely knock out Caleb Rose of contention. So Rose is hoping to get another top 10 finish here this week. He has been on fire in the number 32 Tide Ride. More on that here in a couple of moments. But nonetheless, with only a 6-pack of races remaining here in the regular season, every point and every position is going to count for all of these drivers trying to fight for the 2025 title. Built in 1999, the Coca-Cola Superspeedway has been a mainstay in all of NR2003, and the speeds we see at this 3-mile high-bank superspeedway are some of the most dizzying. Even though this track is not unique by the usage of the Speedway Aero package, 240 miles an hour in the draft smashes any other track by a wide margin, and with great speed comes great wrecks and great moments. We're sure to have several big ones here this afternoon and a lot of close competitive racing here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. But a beautiful week of racing must come to a close sometime, and that time is now. Let's go down trackside to get the most famous words in motorsports to kick off the final race of the Dunkin Week of Speed, the Sam Adams Firecracker 400.
Drivers, start your engines.
The field roars to life here at Coca-Cola. We're ready to go racing for 400 miles this afternoon. Igor Barreto starts on the pole position in the number 13 Valvoline Dodge Charger. He's looking for a little bit of redemption after wrecking on the opening lap of yesterday's Firecracker at the Glen. 2 is outside, the number 3 of Reggie Fogelman looking to bring the Coke Zero colors to victory lane at their home track here in Concord, Massachusetts. Your Pocono winner starts in 2nd to make up row number 1. There's the pole sitter yesterday for GTLM. Roberto Crown Jr. was involved in a horrible accident on lap number 1 of the race. He starts to the inside of Alexander Rowe in row number 2. Caleb Rose, who dominated the opening stint of the race for GTLM yesterday in Watkins Glen. Another top 5 start for the Tide Ride. He starts the inside of Skylar Taylor's number 45 Costco Camry. There's a look at the back end of the field. Bradley Ream, Rogaldorn, and Angel Gutierrez, a couple of drivers we mentioned at the top of the show, starting deep in the field. Looking for their second wins of the season. For Ream, he looks for his third. Taking a look at the track itself, 3 miles in length, 36 degrees of banking in the corners. It is the fastest and one of the longest tracks that we go to here on the MBCS circuit. Stage breaks every 10 laps here. Laps 10 and 20 will be the stage breaks of 34 laps and 400 miles to be ran here at Coca-Cola. Pit window opening up with about 10 laps to go in this race. It remains caution-free. As the 4 previous winners of this race, 3 of them are on the grid here this afternoon. Pace Truck is in the pit lane. It's been a long week of racing here in Massachusetts, but for the final time here on the 5th of July, Igor Barreto leads the field of the race's restart zone, and we're green flag racing for the Dunkin Week of Speed finale. Off the final corner, Roberto Crown Jr. will lead lap number 1, and a gaggle of race cars all in line right behind him, 2 by 2 throughout pretty much the entire field. Caleb Rose down to the low side. He'll go to the point in the 32. A little bit of help from Campbell Marsh in the 31. Alex Lozano, Matt Wolf, and Toby Murphy all down on the low side. Now a 3-car by 3-car breakaway on both the high and the low lane. Wolf will now go to the outside. Here comes Toby Murphy, your Boston winner from a couple of days ago. He'll shunt to the front end of this field. Now for the race lead, Campbell Marsh will shoot out like a rocket. Talk about a slingshot maneuver. He is going to be leading this pack by a wide margin back to the start-finish line. Campbell Marsh will lead a lap. And now they're beginning to tightly pack things real deep in here, going in through the corner. 3 wide, which they're able to do safely. It's 4 wide, where things will get sketchy as they rumble around the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, nearly 4 wide in the back there. Reggie Fogelman going the wrong direction along with Roberto Crown Jr. Igor Barreto also midway through the field there in car number 13. And now around goes Ryan Durrani. He goes around with Crown Jr. Several cars nearly going around, and the yellow flag is out for the opening time this afternoon. A 2-car accident entering turn 3. That was nearly more there as Bradley Ream nearly got tagged as Ryan Durrani, the native of Las Vegas, Nevada, will have to be towed back to the pit area. And just like in yesterday's race, Roberto Crown Jr. didn't quite sit on the pole, but he's involved in the first accident of the day. And he'll be placed behind the 8 ball early here in this contest. Caution coming out on lap number 3. Caleb Rose won the race back to the line. Dano Georgi right behind him, alongside with Campbell Marsh. A lot of previous winners up here, up inside of the top 6. Corey Case, your Texas World winner. Your Hillside winner, Esteban Lacer, looking for his second win this week. Zachary Fitzwater, Dano Georgi, Caleb Rose. A lot of drivers up in here that have won this week already. Caleb Rose looking for his second win to the Dunkin Week of Speed, and Dano Georgi looking for a chase berth if he's able to get another win here today. And Campbell Marsh still in search of his first ever win here on the NASRN. He does have 4 poles this season, leads the Cup Series at that. He's still looking for that first ever win. If he's able to win here today, he would win the Dunkin Week of Speed in-season tournament title. Taking a look and see where the 90 of Michael Lewis is back in here. There he is in car number 90, all the way back in 20th. Between Thomas Troxel and Reggie Fogelman. But we're under our caution flag for the first time this afternoon. A two-car accident puts us under the yellow for the opening time, and as Caleb Rose will lead the field through turns 1 and 2. We'll take a look and see what happened to put us under the caution flag for the opening time today in the Sam Adams Firecracker 400. Going up on the outside lane, Durrani is going to make some contact with the 21 of Roberto Crown Jr., and those two cars will go sideways. This was the battle for about 15th. Coming back through here, and Eric Monaco he got a little bit of contact there from the 21. Some hard shots into the outside wall for both the Amazon Prime Video Ford and the Chevrolet. Sponsored by Beyblade X there for Roberto Crown Jr. I saw, who was that? Bruno Diacomo clipped the banking coming back to the line. He was fortunately able to drive away in that. And look, these guys all going 3 and 4 wide, packed in like sardines. And I thought Bradley Ream was going to nearly get turned there by Danny Fallington. But nonetheless, two cars going around here at Coca-Cola. We'll grab another look at it. Following along with Roberto Crown Jr., who was pulling his number 21 car behind the wall, and a hard hit into the wall at that. It's taking the number 21 machine out of today's contest. I believe Ryan Durrani still looking for a tow there in the 86. He was stuck on the embankment, unfortunately. A tough break for both of those drivers. Their afternoons and long weeks will end here in a shower of sparks going down into turn number 3 here on lap number 3. Caleb Rose won the race back to the start-finish line, and he will be your race leader when we go back through the gears here in just a couple of moments here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway and the Sam Adams Firecracker 400. And we're back here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway cleaning up our first caution of the afternoon. Ryan Durrani was able to pull his car back onto the field, but the same cannot be said for Roberto Crown Jr. 40 cars remaining on the lead lap, 41 on the track in total, with Durrani the lone car off of the lead lap. Caleb Rose will lead the field back through the Reese's restart zone. 3 laps to go in stage number 1. And back through the gears they rumble here. Down to the low side goes the number 31, and he is going to block Zachary Fitzwater down low. Those two nearly colliding, trying to get around the stricken number 86, and going way on the outside there is Lasser. He's going to go all the way up the track, and he is going to lose a lot of spots. Same thing for the 63. Corey Case is trying to get around that 86 car. Durrani just trying to get the heck out of the way. We're going to go 4 wide through and going through the corner. This is going to be a little bit tight, boys and girls. And they're able to survive through the corner. Elijah Gordon will go up the hill, and he'll lose some spots there in the 47. A lot of jockeying for position back through the field as Wolf and Gordon continue to hemorrhage spots. Another couple spots there for the 90 of Michael Lewis as he's trying to make some headwind. Getting past the lap down car of Ryan Durrani. And back up through here, and it's a hornet's nest for the front end of the field. Caleb Rose falling back a little bit in the 32. Campo Marsh still leads the way for the Dunkin Week of Speed battle. 3 wide for the race lead. John Andrews won yesterday's race for GTLM at Watkins Glen. He's looking to go 2 for 2 as George I up into the safer barrier just a little bit. 34 car able to keep it straight, and here comes Fitzwater down to the low side. He'll come around to take the proverbial white flag for stage number 1. The yellow flag has come out. Looks like 2 more cars have gone around in turn number 3, so stage number 1 will end under the caution flag. And Danny Fallington was involved in this accident. Looks like turn number 3 is going to be Calamity Corner all afternoon long by the looks of it. And everybody will win the race back to the start-finish line, and Zachary Fitzwater will win stage number 1 here in about a mile and a half. See some fresh tire tracks going in through the corner. So it looks like we had a similar incident to what happened. Ooh, Danny just trying to get on the brakes there in that 16 car. So it looks like we had a cut and paste incident to what happened between Crown Jr. and Durrani. We're going to see if any of these guys come down the pit lane, and indeed they will. So I'm wondering if Fitzy potentially having his pit stall past the start-finish line. Again, the AI don't know that the stage is ending, so they're not going to stay out here. Cole Sampson will surrender some stage points. And yeah, looks like Dano Georgi will win stage number 1 based on pit strategy. That is... oh... I find it funny sometimes that the AI have no idea that the stages are completed after that. So it will be Dano Georgi that'll win stage number 1 as we get a look at the 32 of Caleb Rose, who's on the pit lane right now. Fitzwater will win the race back off. How about Angel Gutierrez there in car number 28? He gained a lot of spots. Dano Georgi lost a ton. And a big shuffle up here in the pit lane. Some drivers taking 2 tires and some drivers were taking 4. Zachary Fitzwater will win the race back, and yeah, Fitzy will win the race off. And we are hearing from the tower that the order that they went back to the caution flag to win stage number 1, that will in fact be the results here for stage number 1. So Dano Georgi will not get the stage win. So it's a little bit wonky, but Fitzwater will indeed be the stage 1 winner. Angel Gutierrez will come out in second. We're going to have to see which drivers took 2 and which drivers took 4. And by the looks of it, everybody remains on the track after that second caution. But Zachary Fitzwater leads the way in car number 99. Take a look and see what happened to put us under the caution flag for the second time this afternoon. Here to end stage number 1 under the caution flag at Coca-Cola. Same exact deal that happened with Crown Jr. and Durrani as Danny Fallington got turned sideways in the 16 car, and he's going to go all the way around Dylan Matthews, avoiding that spinning Fastnell 16. Hard into the outside wall goes Fallington. I don't even think Elijah Gordon got another piece of him. May have nicked the driver's side just a little bit. And yeah, he was just, I don't think he even got the driver's side door on that time. But Danny Fallington will spin around. Just a nice and simple even spin, but the caution flag did wave for another incident of a couple cars squeezing each other going into turn number 3. And Danny Fallington will continue there in the 16. A tough break for him, however. But nonetheless, we'll get another look at it and then get you back to the green flag action to begin stage number 2. Another look at this accident here in real time. Fallington sails around, and yeah, Elijah Gordon, some really, really good evasive maneuvers there from the 47. Prevented himself from running into the 16 once again, but he did gain a little bit of damage on the passenger side of that Schluter Systems Camry. He did indeed come down the pit lane, and Fallington will remain on the lead lap, but he has a little bit of damage to repair, and will take him out of contention for this afternoon's win, unfortunately. Zachary Fitzwater won the race off of the pit lane. He also won the race back from the caution flag. He will be your race leader when we go back through the gears here in the Sam Adams Firecracker 400. And we're back here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, cleaning up our second caution of the afternoon. Still 41 cars on the racetrack. 40 of them are on the lead lap as Danny Fallington all the way back there in the boondocks right behind the pole sitter of Igor Barreto. Everybody came down the pit lane, and everybody is able to make it to the end, except for about 7 drivers that only took 2 tires. Angel Gutierrez was one of them, Juan Rodriguez, Charlie Davenport, Matthew Hubert, Thomas Troxel, and the 96 of Alex Vitale, as well as Michael Lewis in the 90 car. There he is, 2 cars behind Campbell Marsh. By taking that splash and go, these guys came down at lap number 10. They can go about 25 laps on fuel. But that is on a full tank of gas, so those drivers will likely have to come down the pit lane once again to top off on fuel here in about 15 or so laps. We could run a lot of laps under the caution flag, so we're going to have to see how things will shake out. But Zachary Fitzwater leads the way in the 99. Fitzwater, Gutierrez, Cole Sampson, Andrews, and Marsh, your top 5. We're back through the gears here, approaching the midway point through the Sam Adams Firecracker 400, and John Andrews will immediately duck down to the low side in the 7 car, trying to get around the stricken 86 machine of Ryan Durrani. Durrani is going to hold up Cole Sampson. Brother Riley will scoot past on the inside, and Cole is going to go the wrong direction there in that DeWalt number 5. Being held up by the slow car of Durrani. Now Durrani will move down the low side, and he nearly got railroaded by the 32 of Caleb Rose. Meanwhile, back at the front, Gutierrez utilizing those 2 tires on the left-hand side of that 28 car. Making his way all the way up to 2nd. Remember, he started this race back in 38th. Made his way up to 2nd. Campbell Marsh will scoot down the low side. And here comes Alex Vitale. He took 2 tires as well. 96 car will go up to 3rd. Not sure where Juan Rodriguez is. I believe Rodriguez was one of the cars that was held up. That's where he is. A big mess in the back. Eric Monaco flipping upside down. Michael Lewis involved as well in a big mess on the tail end of turn 2. Puts us under the yellow flag once again. Dylan Matthews was in it. Several cars going upside down. The 92, the 47, Logan Alexander, and Brennan Wilmington, the 2020 winner of this race. All of those cars involved. Carson Miller, and of course the most significant in that wreck, Michael Lewis there in the 90. And we saw that 4 car go upside down. He was pirouetting through the air. And I don't know about Mitchell Collins. Bruno Diacomo was in it. We're under the caution flag once again here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, and Zachary Fitzwater won the race back once again. And most of this race has been run under the caution so far. That time it was on turn number 2, and nothing that you could really do about that. It looks like stage number 2 will also end under the caution flag here. Fitzwater and everybody is going to come down the pit lane once again. So Fitzy will lead the field back down the service area. We'll see if anybody elects to stay out. Durrani will stay out, but he is off the lead lap, so he can't pit. We are hearing from the tower that since the stage won't end when these guys are pitting, we'll come off the pit lane first. Whatever the order will be after lap 20 is completed will be the running order, as Fitzwater just topping off a little bit there in the 99 to make sure that he can get to the end. I believe that's what everybody is going to be doing. So I believe Fitzwater, who nearly ran over the 32 of Caleb Rose, will indeed win the race off the pit lane, and he will. But we got a big mess to decipher here. We're under caution for the 3rd time today in the big one. Striking in turn 2. We said that there was going to be multiple big ones. The first of those big ones coming out here on lap number 15 of the Sam Adams Firecracker 400. So this all started going into turn number 1 when Michael Lewis got turned by Dano Georgi towards the inside wall, and these guys at this point are going about 250 miles an hour, going into a 36-degree banked corner. Caleb Rose nearly got killed there by the 90 of Michael Lewis, who goes hard into the safer barrier up on the outside wall. But that would be bad enough, but it didn't warrant a caution. You see all the drivers down in here trying to make evasive maneuvers, and we're going to pay attention with this 71 car of Mitchell Collins, because this is going to be where this accident kicks off. Everybody just trying to get slowed down enough in time, and Mitchell's going to lose control, tags the 86 of Ryan Durrani. Just as Brenna Wilmington goes up the racetrack, up the hill everybody goes, and watch this 71 car. Hard into the outside wall, makes contact with the 4, and everybody just snowplows it up, and look at the height up into the catch fence. Nearly a sport ender there for the 71 of Mitchell Collins. A horrifying ride. He goes flipping upside down. Same thing with Eric Monaco as he goes for a wild ride. That might be one of the most violent crashes that we have seen here in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series in the last few seasons. Certainly the most violent that we have seen here in 2025. And it's pretty much just a junkyard down in here. And really, Michael Lewis got the best of that compared to everybody else involved in this crash. Elijah Gordon, Bruno Diacomo, Carson Miller, Braden Perez. 2/3 of the Pacific Racing Camp junked here. Carson Miller, the lone entry for O2 Motorsports. Really, really, really violent accident there. We're going to take a couple of looks at this, starting off with probably the 79 of Bruno Diacomo. We'll go on board with him. Following with Bruno Diacomo on board with the number 79 car. A lot of drivers checking up. He goes hard on the outside wall, and watch that 71 car come into frame. Diacomo, the rookie, junked there in the 79. This is the view from Logan Alexander's Celsius Ford Fusion, and he's going to get a front row seat to both of these cars going upside down. Collins up into the catch fence. That 58 car destroyed. There for your Nashville winner. On board with Elijah Gordon. Gordon just trying to back it down. Good Lord. He was able to drive away from the accident scene unscathed. And finally, the view from Mitchell Collins' vantage point. Hold on, folks. This is going to get bumpy. Up into the catch fence, upside down, flipping side over side, end over end, and finally coming to rest. And thank the Lord that he hit the catch fence right before the grandstands. Mitchell Collins, a horrifying ride in that Tag Heuer Dodge. One final look at this accident, following with the 90 of Michael Lewis. Ricochets up the racetrack. Everybody just trying to check up, and Mitchell Collins getting the worst end of it. He goes hard up the racetrack, up into the catch fence. Eric Monaco upside down. Fortunately, everybody was able to land on all 4 wheels, but Mitchell Collins destroyed there in the number 71 machine. So a big wreck, the biggest wreck of the afternoon so far, puts us under the yellow flag. Zachary Fitzwater won the race off the pit lane. And he will be the race leader when we go back through the gears here to begin stage number 3. Hopefully trying to get to the end here, caution-free, at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. We're back here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, our third caution being cleaned up. A horrifying crash over in turn number 2. Taking a look at all the drivers knocked out from that accident. Bradley Ream blew a piston, so another poor run for the 2 car. His teammate, his team owner of Eric Monaco, knocked out. Mitchell Collins, Bruno Diacomo, Logan Alexander, Dylan Matthews was in it. The 62 of Brennan Wilmington, Elijah Gordon, and Braden Perez, 2/3 of the Pacific Racing Group, knocked out in that accident on lap number 16. 32 cars remain on the track. 31 of them are on the lead lap. And everybody is mathematically able to make it to the end of this race via fuel. Zachary Fitzwater, who currently sits below the top 30 points. In points, he is the lowest driver on the grid that has a win this season, looking for win number 2. Campbell Marsh looking for his first win ever. Esteban Lasserre looking for his second win this week. Alex Sanvitale and John Andrews round out the top 5. Green flag back out of the air. We'll get the 1 to go here for stage number 2, and Lasserre knows it. He tries to duck down to the low side, and he is going to be caught behind the 86 of Durrani. Everybody trying to get around this 86 car before everybody gets up to full song. Zachary Fitzwater is starting to pull away. Fitzy swept both stages at Boston a couple of days ago, and now he is trying to sweep both stages here this afternoon in the 99. Everybody caught behind Ryan Durrani's stricken number 86 machine. They're 3 wide going in through the corner. A little bit of beating and banging, but everybody will remain straight. Lasserre and Sanvitale go in the wrong direction, but the field will rocket off turn number 4, and here's Campbell Marsh. Couple of cars going around. That's Rogel Dorn who's sideways. And stage number 2 will go to the number 31, and somehow Dorn was able to keep that car on the road. Could have swore the yellow flag was going to come out there for the 27 of Rogel Dorn, but everybody will get through nice and easily. And Campbell Marsh will win stage number 2 with Zachary Fitzwater right behind him, and it's a race to the end. Fitzwater now trying to repay the favor there for the 31 of Marsh off of turn 4. This race still far from over. Cole Sampson now back in the fray in the 5 car after being held up by Ryan Durrani on the opening stint. Marsh back out in the lead. Sampson up to 3rd. Now he's going to be hunted down by John Andrews. Andrews to the tail end of the 5 car. Down the back straightaway, the field rumbles. Logan Williams joining the fray along with the 05 of Owen Miles. Marsh got into the outside wall, and here comes Fitzwater up through the inside. Marsh will be down on the low side. Looks like the 34 of Dano Georgi caught a piece there with that incident with Rogel Dorn. Meanwhile, Michael Lewis all the way back in the 90 machine. And Dano Georgi just now coming back onto the track, and here we go. The fight for the race lead heating up. Cole Sampson down to the low side. They're going to rumble past the 34 of Dano Georgi, who's coming off of the pit lane. Now hopefully we'll get some green flag racing in this contest, coming around to 11 laps to go this next time by. Sampson, Fitzwater, Rose, Williams, and Marsh, your top 5. They go back around through the race's restart zone. They will rumble. 11 laps to go. Zachary Fitzwater pulling on the back end of that number 5 car, and he'll duck down to the low side. Fitzy already with 1 win this season, trying to get NS Racing another. And if Fitzwater is able to get up inside the top 30, he would be the second wildcard driver if he's trying to stay up there. Fitzwater right now 38th in the points standings. Thomas Troxel is 30th with 480 points, and Zachary Fitzwater, Thomas Troxel, 1,826 points. Fitzwater, 1,575, so I don't believe that even with a win, he would be up inside of the top 30. Stranger things can happen. 10 laps to go here in the Sam Adams Firecracker 400. Everybody is good to the go on fuel. Logan Williams now trying to join this battle in the 17. Andrews looking for his 2nd win in a row. Won yesterday at Watkins Glen for GT Le Mans, and he's going to thunder his way up here in car number 7, trying to give Macklin Hamill Enterprises their first win since Derek Hamill won at Nazareth last year, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to bring that 7 car to victory lane for the first time ever. Trying to put the Barstool colors in Gatorade victory lane here at Coca-Cola. 9 laps to go, and Fitzwater now out to a commanding lead. But drafting back in is a 17 of Williams. 0.2 of a second off of Zachary Fitzwater on a superspeedway. That is an eternity. Here comes Marsh. He's got a really good run. Slingshotted around the 17. Now can he get around the 99? Andrews now trying to make it 3 wide for the race lead as they go into turn number 3. And you gotta hold on. It's gonna be tight going through turn 3. 3 wide for the top spot. And look at John Andrews powering his way through the corner. Field now beginning to separate just a little bit. We're gonna have the havers and have-nots. A couple of drivers got caught behind the 86 of Ryan Durrani, as well as Nathan Stapleton. Back to the top, it is still anybody's race. John Andrews shows the way, and they're going to catch up to the 13 of Igor Barreto. Before this is all said and done, most likely, Miles, Sampson, Gutierrez, and Bouchard, they're all up here in this battle. Caleb Rose looking to go up inside the top 10, nearly arrow chopped the 5 car down low. All happening behind John Andrews here in the 7. Sampson blocks up high in the 5 car. Gutierrez will now take the low side in the 28. Remember, Gutierrez trying to get his 2nd win of the season. With Bradley Ream having another poor run, Ream could potentially fall outside the top 10 here over the next couple of weeks. But with more drivers getting multiple victories here in 2025, that could spell doom there. And how about Toby Murphy? The spin and win a couple of days ago, and he's got damage on the rear end of that Dunkin' Donuts number 20. He's looking for his 2nd win this week as he's going to go all the way over on the high side. He's going to potentially fall outside of the top 10. Angel Gutierrez down to the low side. 6 laps to go here from Coca-Cola. Charlie Davenport, he's up into the outside wall, but he keeps that 98 car straight, looking for his first ever win on an oval. And Gutierrez, remember, he was one of the 7 drivers that took 2 tires on that initial pit stop. They caught another caution, everybody topped off, everybody is good to the go, and Gutierrez could go from 38th to 1st to get his 2nd win here this season. Cole Sampson looking for his 3rd ever win. He is trying to end a long-standing drought there in that 5 car. He is not giving up. He powers down to the low side, coming around to 5, count them, 5 laps to go in the Sam Adams Firecracker 400. Sampson will lead that time around. Zachary Fitzwater rejoining the fray. Andrews not giving up. He'll poke down to the low side of the 5 car. 3 wide behind them. Fitzwater looking to go double file for the penultimate spot. Logan Williams right behind him in that Hershey's Dodge. Couple of cars behind the 17 is the other entry for Logan Sport. Daniel Bouchard looking for his 2nd win. He's in front of Angel Gutierrez, who will fall outside of the top 5. John Andrews back at the front. They're not making a whole lot of ground on Igor Barreto. I don't know if they're going to catch Barreto before this is all said and done. 4 laps to go this time around. John Andrews with a wide margin back to the start-finish line. Cole Sampson trying to catch up to him. 0.3 of a second. That's the biggest margin anybody has had here this afternoon. And watch this 5 car. He's going to get a big run coming off of the corner. Zachary Fitzwater goes down to the low side, pokes that Krispy Kreme Ford Fusion down below the DeWalt Tools number 5. Fitzwater back up at the high side. Andrews coming around, 3 laps to go, trying to snap a long-standing winless streak here at the Cup Series. Zachary Fitzwater looking for win number 2, and this is the closest that Cole Sampson has been to victory here in the last couple of years. He's right on the tail end of the 7. Could this be the day that Cole Sampson finally goes to Gatorade victory lane? Matthew Hubert goes up the hill in the 23. That'll allow Charlie Davenport to take 4th away. Fitzwater down to the low side. Couple of veterans all inside the top 4 here as Fitzwater will slot in front of Davenport. Now Davenport will do the crossover onto Zachary Fitzwater. Look at the run there from Charlie, trying to take second away from the 5. They're all behind the 7, and now coming down the pit lane. They could not make it on fuel. Heartbreak for all of these drivers coming down with 2 laps to go. And now the question is, can John Andrews make it on fuel? That was all the drivers that took 2 tires coming down the pit lane. Michael Lewis is down the pit lane. Where's Campbell Marsh? Marsh is all the way up to 4th. They'll be coming to the white flag this time around, and John Andrews trying to drive it like he stole it. Alex Sanvatore, one of the drivers that came down to take 2 tires, and Zachary Fitzwater may be out of fuel. Here comes Sanvatore. He's going to come down the pit lane. Drama here in the closing laps. White flag is out. One final time around the Coca-Cola Superspeedway for John Andrews. Campbell Marsh right behind him. He's going to have a lap over the 90 of Michael Lewis. And trouble in front. Around went the 3 car of Reggie Fogelman. Campbell Marsh nearly turned around in the 31. He's going to be right in front of the 84. The yellow flag is out on the final lap, and where's John Andrews? Andrews is there. He had already taken the white flag. Campbell Marsh. I believe Marsh was trapped on the pit lane. Back up at the front. Coming around, turn number 4. 2 wins in a row for John Andrews. He will take the Octane checkered flag. He'll get the job done at Coca-Cola. A topsy-turvy way to end the race here this afternoon, but the big question was, where did Campbell Marsh finish in relation to the 90 of Michael Lewis? Marsh was stuck down on the low side. Caleb Rose will finish in 2nd. He has had a heck of a week. Everybody trying to get around. Oh, we're going to have a big stack up back in here. That time Rogaldorn will go around. He gets hit by the 32, but it doesn't mean anything. John Andrews is the winner, but now the big question is, who is the winner of the Dunkin Week of Speed? Campbell Marsh being scored 1 lap down. We're going to have to see if he is ahead of Michael Lewis, and that was just strategy going wrong for about half of the field. 7 cars end up finishing this race on the lead lap. John Andrews will be going to Gatorade Victory Lane, and here are the official standings. So it is official. Campbell Marsh, after wrecking on the final lap, shades of Toby Murphy from winning the championship and not even being on the track, will win the Dunkin Week of Speed, but John Andrews wins the Sam Adams Firecracker 400, a crazy Sam Adams Firecracker 400. Caleb Rose, Alex Sanvatore, Logan Williams, and Riley Sampson, your top 5. Alex Lozano came out of absolutely nowhere to finish in 6th. Zachary Fitzwater finishes in 7th. Campbell Marsh, Charlie Davenport, and Cole Sampson round out the top 10. Michael Lewis ends up finishing this race in 25th, while Marsh finishes in 8th. Everybody coming down the pit lane to put in more fuel. They could not make it to the end. I thought they could have. But drama in the late stages of this race, as you see everybody that failed to finish. Carson Miller was 3 laps down. Braden Perez, everybody from Perez on down, was caught up in accidents. But you talk about the last 2 days of racing, the last 3 days of racing that we have had here on the channel. You know, Papyrus, that was really the only normal race that we had this weekend. I'll give Most Sport. That was a little bit crazy, but not as crazy. But Papyrus, that was the only officially caution-free race that we had all week. If you told me Papyrus was going to be the calmest race, I thought you would have been crazy. But after yesterday at Watkins Glen and here today at Coca-Cola, John Andrews, 2 wins in a row for that driver. One in the 3 machine yesterday for GT Le Mans for the Firecracker at the Glen, and he sweeps both Firecracker races. John Andrews going to Gatorade victory lane here about twice in the last 24 hours. Here for the driver of that 7, and he finally gets that ride, the Macklin Hamill Enterprises number 7, a win here at the Cup level. But that was quite the week of racing, and we're going to need a hard reset after all of that. That's going to do it here from Coca-Cola. Congratulations once again to John Andrews for winning the Sam Adams Firecracker 400. And we're off for 2 weeks, and oh boy, do we need them. The next time we'll be on the air will be Saturday, July 19th. Coverage from the M&M's 400 from the Dover International Speedway will begin at 1 o'clock Eastern, and that will begin the final 5-race stretch of the regular season. Dover, Indianapolis, Watkins Glen, Michigan, and Armory Digital. 5 races are left in the regular season, and they all kick off on July 19th, beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern, only here on the NASRN. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Here is your Dunkin Week of Speed final bracket. Congratulations once again to Campbell Marsh for winning the Dunkin Week of Speed, by the way. But here are your Dunkin Week of Speed bracket and point standings after race 21 of the 2025 NBCS season. And from Concord, Massachusetts, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network and on behalf of every track here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great night, folks. We'll see you in 2 weeks down in the First State in Dover, Delaware.